And yes, we have sometimes those little things that happen. Like my little example, I think I was 12-ish, and I found out a neighborhood boy wanted to try to kiss me, and they were still gross at the time. And so I remember running through this, we had these huge yards, like each an acre. So I'm running across my huge yard. I finally get to my front steps, and I run up my front brick steps, and I slip. And my knee hits the brick. And I look down, and there's a hole, but I'm in shock. So I go up the stairs, I go to my mom, I'm like, Mom, I hit myself. And she looks down, she tries to hide her face. She's like, and she squeezes it shut, and we go, and I got 3 stitches, and they're like the worst, ugliest stitches, and like, we did a really bad job. Anyway, that was my first encounter with love. I was running, and I have had a fear of intimacy ever since. I remember when I was at Bermuda Ranch, and we were in this like art expression class, and we all got to pick a word. Guess what I picked? Intimacy. Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? So yes, we have these things that shape how we feel about our body, our relationship with our body. So oftentimes we forget we're not our bodies. Our bodies are part of us. They're where we live, but they're not who we are. They're not what we do. And so oftentimes I heard about messages sent to us, and it is. It's because they know they can sell something to us that we'll buy. Right? So yes, that is. We will have these moments along our life's journeys. For me, the 18-year battle, I met Ed right after that. Started talking to me, whisper in my ear, if you could just stay thin, if you could just keep your dancer body, then you can stay happy. You can keep all that stuff you had when you were a dancer, because it really wasn't about the dance, was it? It wasn't about the act of dancing. It was the identity. It was the role it played in my life. It was the relationship with my father I'd lost. It was my peer support system that I lived in. If you think about it, I was living in a dorm room, or a whole dorm full of people just like me. We all had the same goals. We all had sort of the same personality. We didn't all get along, right? But we all had that similar character traits. We were all perfectionists. We were all driven, and we all knew what we were going to do the rest of our lives. So I had that peer support. And when I moved back home, back in with my parents, which sucked, I was back at school where I knew no one. And they were like, ooh, what was it like to be, I was like the dancer girl, And I just I just want to be invisible. Kind of like just to blend in right now. But I just kept standing out. So many of those things contributed to that. If I could control my body, if I could stay thin, then I could stay happy. And I believed it. And of course, I did not know I had an undiagnosed mental health condition. That was when the bipolar symptoms started. That's when the depression started. The mood swings. And that trauma at that time of my life had a huge impact on me beginning that eating disorder. And I adopted that mindset. That I'm only good enough if I'm either doing something or I look a certain way. And the eating disorder's lies became my truth. And I had no identity outside of it. And so in order for me to get my mindset shifted back, I had to come to a place of decision, right? We tell this to our clients all the time. It's almost like a choosing point where you have to say, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to keep doing it? Or are you going to stop? And a lot of times, we don't think we have the power anymore because the eating disorders are out there of our voice. But my therapist, I'll never forget, Saturday mornings was the only time she had time to see me because I worked full time. Every Saturday morning, I'd sit on her sofa and I'd go, Amy, how are you doing? Oh, I don't know. How do you feel? I hate myself. I feel every Saturday morning. I don't know how she did it. She listened to it every Saturday morning. I hate myself, I feel fat. The moment she told me that fat wasn't a feeling, I was just, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. There are other feelings besides fat. I didn't know whether to be angry. Oh, wait, that's a feeling. So I started to go, wait a second. What do I feel? And you know what I did? I felt pissed off, is what I felt. Because I was like, wait a second. You told me 18 years ago that if I just stayed thin, I would have happiness. I've been more miserable than I ever would have been before. You lied. And that was the moment I was like, I've had enough. Enough is enough. That was the very first place that I had to come to in order to change my mindset. I had to be done with the old one. Does that make sense? Done with the old one. So on this, there's a typo. The first, it says my body's enough for the first one. The very first slide for this, it's wrong. It's I've had enough. This is correct. That one's incorrect. So the three pieces of this, I had to come to the first, enough is enough. I had to decide, was I going to fight or was I going to let it destroy my life? I remember with my suicidality, it was very much the same thing. I had to come to a point where, like, look, you're gonna die from this bipolar disease if you don't fight it. Or you could live and you could thrive and you could see your daughter grow up. What do you want to do? And obviously I'm here today, so I decided to kick its ass. And I won. Then it got me to a place where I could actually learn to disagree. And I learned to draw the line. So let's take a look at these things. Enough is enough. I remember I had been I was very deep in my suicidality. It was 2011. My bipolar disorder was just wrecking my brain. It was either the bulimia or the bipolar, and they were taking turns. Just felt like I was a ship tossed in the sea. And I was in a psychiatric hospital, and my husband came to see me, and I was sitting there, and he told me, when he looked into my eyes, that I wasn't there. And I didn't know if I was ever going to come back, because they had me so medicated so that I wouldn't kill myself. That was how to keep me safe from my disease. And I remember getting out and writing in my journal, it's after me again. It's after me again. And the hospital said, you need inpatient eating disorder treatment. That's what you need. Guess what my insurance company did? That's right. They denied it. They said, oh no, she doesn't. She needs outpatient treatment. Right. A suicidal eating disorder client needs outpatient treatment. What do they know? So I go to outpatient treatment. And I remember sitting there every afternoon. This sucks. I can't believe they're making me do this. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to help. You've never heard that before, right? Never. It's never going to help. And I did that for weeks at a time. And then I finally got to, that therapy session on that sofa. I was sitting there. And I had put these shoes and all these leotards and all these tights and all these leg warmers in a box. After I lost dance, I stuck them all in a box and I sealed it up and I never opened it. And she knew about the box. Some people knew about the box. I knew about the box. And it stayed under my bed for all those years. And as a good therapist, she's just kind of like, trying to get me to the place where I'll kind of realize things. She's not going to tell me what to do. Oh, this day, she was like, look, this is what you're going to do. This is what you need to do, Amy. You need to open that box and you need to grieve the loss of dance. And everything came with it because you never have. I was like, Miss Smarty Pants. She was right. I got a huge smile on my face. It's a complete opposite of emotion. I was like, and my body's like, why are you smiling? But I'm smiling because she was right. And I opened up the box and I went home and I peeled open that box and You know when you store sweaty clothes for 20 years, what happens? It's phenomenal. So it's just, sense, but memories, emotions. There's nothing like the touch of that coarse wool warm-ups that you wear that for some reason they feel fine on your skin but not on your fingertips. But the shoes, I started to smell, I started to grieve, I cried, I laughed, I probably looked like a crazy person because I'm like, ha ha ha, ha ha. All the rush of emotions came back, and it was literally the closest I'd ever been to myself. And when I allowed myself to do that, and I came up out of that, it was almost like I stood there for the first time in 18 years and said, oh, hell no. I've had enough. I'm done. And it's almost like I look my eating disorder right in the face. I'm coming for you. Because you're not going to do this anymore. I'm going to get my life back. I'm going to watch my daughter grow up, and she's going to be amazing too. Right? I had to come to that, so enough is enough. So now here's your opportunity. Share a body journey moment when your heart said, enough is enough. Something on your body journey. It doesn't have to be recovery related. I heard some athletes out there. I heard some dancing stories, some pregnancy stories. If you identify with this, let's go ahead and have our group discussion.
That's probably this one I think that's one of the most intense memorable sessions I had where I was yeah, she had always talked about like go back home into her room all her slippers were hanging everywhere in her favorite ones because something like that. And then she showed what she brought at the entire she was a session and she walked with a pair of scissors and she wanted to go to the surgery room and cut them up. But I watched her like move into this like romanticizing and suddenly she started just putting this like talking about anxiety and going, can I just and I was like, I'm not gonna stop this, right? Like,
Something's happening.
Yeah,
Follow it.
but it was really intense. Like, she put it on. It was just, it was in slow motion. It was like she was just reminiscing every like tie of the string.
So it was sensory. She was very fully present in her body. She could feel the satin ribbons and the.
Yeah. And then at one moment, she had enough of it. She said, she kept saying like I probably shouldn't be doing this. Like, should feel that, right?
Yeah. I'm shooting on myself right now.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And then she stopped and she started to grab the scissors and she started cutting. But it was very memorable in my therapeutic experience. Like that moment was an intense moment to experience.
Yes. Only that person can watch the relationship and the dancer and just how much she becomes a part of their souls. And so when they can't dance, it's like
yeah.
What?
And just all the stories that I heard about the culture, in the dance culture, about how just the intensity of it's like you must be paradise.
Well, and
at least in her experience.
I don't know, I can speak to that because I was very young and I never had any eating disorder thoughts when I was dancing. I didn't even have that, again, concept of good enough or bad enough. There was none of that until the injury, and that shaped
years.
I was like, you know, but
Eventually.
what did affect me was that I was always told I was perfect.
Just go out there.
Okay, so and we were you're the sum of your body parts. You know, oh, do you have the arms? Do you have the legs? Do you have the hands? Do you have the arches? Do you have she has the shoulders? You know, so we're always talking about.
You know?
I don't know if they do that in running
Trying to
or any other sport. We're like, oh, you have the volleyball legs. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Dance.
In different ways, but the dance
Actually,
like
oh, she has the dancer body. It's like perfect. It's perfect.
just kind of focusing in on the
Lost my dancer body. That's what that is.
Or if you know who the person is that's getting all the attention for having the attention body, you're gonna draw some percentage as well.
Constantly, like, it can be. But yes, dancers have the nice.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's like.